2,000 acres of beautiful and wild Montana with Flathead Lake as their backyard, Flathead Lake Lodge is the subject of episode 92 of The Family Vacationer, and it starts right now.
Welcome to The Family Vacationer with Rob and Danny. The go-to podcast for families on the move.
Welcome, friends. I'm Rob.
And I'm Danny, and this is episode 92 of The Family Vacationer. Hey, we're so glad you're with us. If you enjoy the show, do us a favor and tell your friends and family about the podcast. And we got some really cool episodes coming up, so make sure you hit that subscribe button so you don't miss out on an episode. You can also follow us on Facebook, Instagram, and on YouTube.
That's right. And today is a super exciting show because we're going to take a look at Flathead Lake Lodge. Now, if you've ever thought about visiting a dude ranch, and let's face it, who hasn't? Today's show is for you. Mountain biking, horseback riding, hiking, that's just a few of the activities. That's all a part of your stay at this all-inclusive ranch. Flathead Lake Lodge has been hosting guests for 76 years. Now, joining us today to talk about this great place is Chase Averill. He's a third-generation general manager of the facility. Chase, welcome to the show.
Awesome. Thanks for having me. Appreciate it.
Yeah, I appreciate you coming on. And I wanted to start by asking this. For those people who may not know, can you explain exactly what a dude ranch is?
Sure. Well, I think, there's two terms, dude ranch, guest ranch.
Okay.
And I think a dude ranch they're essentially the same thing. Originally, the term dude was coined, way back in the early, I would say 1900s or so.
Mm-hmm.
And it was essentially working ranches that allowed guests to stay or travelers to stay at their ranch, when they were visiting the area or traveling through. And dude was essentially a term to describe like an unexperienced ranch hand or a city slicker or someone like that. So the term kind of got put together as a dude ranch as ranches that hosted guests and catered to travelers in addition to kind of the working ranch setup as well.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Well, let's talk about the different activities. If a family was visiting, what are all the different activities you guys have at Flathead Lake Lodge?
Yeah, so we're definitely, we like to say we're a ranch on a lake. We're not a resort with horses. So, we're very much kind of centered around the equine side of things.
Uh-huh.
This will be our 77th, 78th year. So, we're a multi-generational ranching family. And so the horse side of things is kind of the anchor of the place and what it all revolves around. But we're really spoiled in that we're right on Flathead Lake, which is this, big, beautiful body of water that's about 30 miles long, 15 miles wide, right in front of the ranch. We're right on the shores of it. It's 9 miles wide. So it's actually the largest freshwater lake west of the Mississippi.
Oh, wow.
And so we have all the lake activities, all the sailing, boating, water sports, all that sort of stuff. And then all the ranch activities, all the horseback stuff, the trail riding, the arena events and lessons and all that side of things. And then up on the ranch property, we've added, we have archery, we have a 3D course, we've been building really nice mountain bike trails. So we have about 12 plus miles of really fun, they call them flow trails for mountain biking. And we shuttle you to the top and you bomb down. We do hiking, we do fly fishing, lake charter fishing, we do laser tag, we do
laser tag.
Too much stuff to fit in 1 week, honestly. So
Wow.
We try to warn everyone not to do it all, and don't forget just to hang by the pool and lake and get a little water, but no one ever listens.
Mm-hmm.
So laser tag, is that outside? Yeah. How do you do that?
Yeah, it's outside. So we took about, I'd say it's about 5 acres or so, and left it it's a natural part of the ranch. It's bushes and trees and rock outcroppings, and so it's kind of this little destination spot, and there's all sorts of different games they play. They play capture the flag and Hunger Games style, and Team A versus Team B, and typically it starts out as the kids, and by the end of the week it's all the dads and parents taking revenge on the kids.
Of course it is.
Yeah, I'm sure that's me when we go to a laser tag. Yeah, you guys go on, and then by the end, I'm in there with them.
Yeah, it's awesome.
So you mentioned so many cool things already. In your experience, what's a good age range for kids to really enjoy the stay?
Yeah, I mean, I think so. 6 and up can ride horses here, and that's an insurance issue, and I think that's pretty industry standard.
Yeah.
So I mean, really, and we have kids programs for the younger kids where they do a lot of different fun things, but I mean, I really think it's like 5 to. It depends on how cool your teenager gets quickly, but 5 to 12, 15, somewhere in there is that sweet spot where the most for us, the most special part of the week honestly is the kids, and the way the kids just get a sense of freedom here and independence, and something as simple as we have a whole fleet of mountain bikes that the kids can just help themselves to and ride around the ranch, and they just kind of rat pack up, and it's it's kind of similar to like how the older generations grew up, where it was come back when the street lights were on,
right?
And so that's very that's the atmosphere that's been here since my grandfather started the place, and it still lives on today, and just that sense of independence and freedom for that 5 to 12, 15-year-old, for them to have that is invaluable, and they make friends easily and quickly, and honestly the parents get a vacation out of it too, because the kids are kind of naturally entertained and have built these friendships throughout the week, and then mom and dad actually find themselves with some breaths of fresh air, and it actually becomes a vacation for them also, and they get to meet other couples, and so that's the fun part of it for us.
Yeah. So, I was going to ask you, do families do things together or separate programs for kids? But it sounds like kids can just go off and do their own thing in some cases. And
programming for, young kids, kind of the tweeners, there's programs for the teenagers, and all that, the way it works here is it's all just kind of show up and participate. So, it happens very naturally. There's definitely other resorts and ranches where the kids are kind of scooped away from the adults and kind of forced to entertain. Here it happens as much or as little as the families would like it to happen. And for us, we think that's awesome, and that the kids are the ones building the relationships with the other kids and making the friendships. And so if you're bored here, something's wrong. And so, but I'd say more often than not, the families they do they do most of it together, but then the kids make these friend groups and do a lot together themselves.
They do that so easily.
Important. Yep.
Cool. Well, what should families expect when they're staying on a dude ranch versus like a bed and breakfast or a hotel stay?
Sure. Well, we're a little unique. I think the average guest ranch is only like 16 guests. So we have about 120.
Cool.
We're, kind of on the larger size. But, the biggest thing is, typically they're all inclusive, and they're usually a week stay. That's kind of, believe it or not, there is this kind of Dude Ranch Association that, is over 100 years old and really tries to kind of like hold ranches to the original values of what a dude ranch was. And so, typically they're all inclusive, they're longer stays. And most of them, especially the smaller ones, are still family owned and operated.
Right.
Not many, hardly, our size are, but the smaller ones are. So they're very personal, social vacations where, you're typically in a somewhat remote property with the same group of people for the same amount of time. And so you all get to know each other, you're doing the recreation together. And so, if you do it right, it's a great way to meet friends and lifelong, build lifelong relationships. And, a lot of times it's like-minded people that obviously chose to go to a dude ranch. That's not everyone. And
Sure.
so a lot of great friendships are made, and, it's pretty neat to see.
You mentioned folks stay normally for about a week. Is there a minimum stay?
It varies ranch to ranch.
Okay.
For us in the summer season, family season, it is 1 week. It's Sunday to Sunday.
Okay.
We do some kind of fun adult only stuff in the spring and the fall. That's 3 and 4 nights, but most ranches I would say are a week stay.
It seems like to accomplish a lot of the things you're talking about, you really do need like a week stay to get everything, to get as much in, but also to develop those friendships like you're talking about.
Yeah. And I think even for the kids, times have changed, especially in the last 2 years. And, what we see is it takes a day or two for more so the parents to feel comfortable with kind of letting the kids go. And so, it's amazing the transition that happens every week, from start to finish. And so I think you need that time for that to happen, which is mostly what makes the place special.
For sure.
Yeah.
You mentioned all-inclusive. Now that term can mean some different things, but, in different arenas. What does it mean on the Dude Ranch when you say all-inclusive?
Yeah, for us, it's dang near everything. So, I mean, it's lodging, meals, recreation. It's, complimentary daily laundry service. It's the bar. It's shuttles to town. It's, we really try, again, back to that home idea, we believe that you're staying at our home, and we're not going to nickel and dime you for all these different things. If you're staying at our home, we're going to settle it up in the end. And so we really try to put it into this big, meaty, all-inclusive package where basically everything's included, and we're going to have a lot of fun while you're here and not worry about anything else.
You had me sold at daily laundry service. So
Really?
Yeah. Well, if you're going to be doing all that laser tag, you might.
Yeah.
So.
Absolutely. Well, so is everything done in big groups while you're on campus? It doesn't sound like that from what you're saying. It sounds like it can be, or it can be broken up into different activities with kids and adults and whatnot.
Some things are done in small groups, like, they might do like a 4-hour lunch ride, horseback ride, and there might be 3 people that go do that. Laser tag might be 25, kids and dads. And then the one thing that is group activity. So with our schedule, every night there's a group activity that we all do together. So some examples of those are like we do a barn dance with a live band.
Cool.
We do what we call a steak fry cookout. So we take half the group up to the south end of the ranch on horseback, and the other half up on a bunch of antique fire trucks that we have, and do a big barbecue cookout. So every night there's different nightly activities that kind of the whole group can participate in.
Right.
And then throughout the day, all those kind of plethora of activities are, all different sizes, but sometimes you and your spouse might be the only ones there, or it could be you and your family, or it could be a couple families.
I know families are different. Some families are all about what you're talking about, being around other families and making friends, while others, do like a fair amount of privacy. And it sounds like you can get that if that's what you want as well.
Yeah, I mean, I would definitely say it is a social vacation.
Okay.
But there's 2,000 acres and a ton of activities for 120 people. So,
For sure.
there's a lot of space to spread out. So, during COVID, so we kind of, to that social element, we have all of our dining set up, the table set up family style.
Okay.
Again, kind of under that idea that, we want you to meet people. We want build relationships, and everyone's here for a week and let's get to know each other.
Yeah.
During COVID, we separated everything out. Everyone had a assigned, every family had an assigned table for breakfast, lunch, dinner for the week. And so I would say, there's still definitely some of that lingering, and we cater to that and make it happen if folks would like to do that. And so I think it's really up to the families. I mean, the one thing that's really dropped off for us in the last, 15 years is like the celebrity world. In the early days, we were, we had a ton of celebrities, and, it's way too social of an environment for that. They can't hide out here anymore. So,
Yeah.
Awesome.
So is there a learning curve for first-time visitors?
I think so. I think that's valid. We have about 70+ % of our guests come back year after year after year. And so, there's a lot of insider secrets and dirty tricks to the place, I guess. Mostly because we don't really have any rules, but I think the biggest ones are like, as a new guest, you look at all these activities, and you get really kind of overwhelmed that you have to pack it all in, and you gotta schedule your week perfectly, and you gotta do it just right, and treat it like it's Disney World, and you gotta navigate the park correctly to get your 10 rides in or whatever. And that's just never happens. Kids are too variable, and so much of what we do is weather, is outdoors, and so there's always wrenches there. And always by the end of the week, they realize that we work with them throughout the week to move stuff around and change, and that initial stress of trying to pre-plan everything perfectly, if they would just kind of approach it as more of a kind of grow with the week as it happens. I think in the end, by the time they get done with their first year, that's how they always feel like, oh, I stressed out way too much about getting this perfect the first year, and can't wait to get back next year because I know exactly how to approach all these activities. So
yeah. Okay.
So you mentioned a little bit about the calendar. What does the calendar look like? When should families plan a visit? Sounds like summer is the main time for families.
Yeah. So most ranches are, that summer, June, July, August season for sure. Our season starts May 1st, and we kind of do about 6 weeks of corporate retreats and destination weddings and adult only stuff. And then the family travel starts about the middle of June. And we do June, July, August, 12 weeks of family season.
Okay.
And in the shoulders, it's kind of more of that corporate wedding, family or adult stuff. So yeah, June, July, August, they're beautiful months in Montana. June is, you never know quite what you're going to get in June, but it's typically, one of the prettiest months of the year with the snow still on the mountains and everything's really green. And so for us, we take reservations throughout the summer or with the guests that are staying here, and kind of give them a first priority to rebook. And then in November, we start going off the wait list of who wants to come the following year. So it's about a year in advance booking process for us.
Okay.
Yeah. Well, for families that might be interested and they want to make plans, what airport is closest to Flathead, and what are the airport transfer options?
Yeah, so it's FCA is the airport code. It's Glacier Park International Airport in Kalispell, Montana.
Okay.
So we're pretty unique for a ranch. We're 1 mile from Big Fork, which is a cute little western town right on the lake, and and then we're only 30 minutes from the airport in Kalispell. So we'll pick you up at the airport, we'll shuttle you, we coordinate all that sort of stuff. And and it's pretty painless. We're not, you don't have to fly into Montana and then drive 4 hours to out into the mountains and really get lost. So it's kind of cool. We have a great little burger and milkshake place at the top of the driveway, which is even more dangerous. So we're kind of close to civilization.
Yeah,
That's awesome.
Yep.
Well, for more information on visiting Flathead Lake Lodge, go to flatheadlakelodge.com. Chase, thank you so much for being on the show with us.
Thank you.
Hey everyone, if you're ready to plan your next family vacation, call my dad. He would love to help you as a certified travel agent. He never charges a fee to help you plan your vacation. Email him at rjones@starsteptravel.com. Get started planning your vacation today.
Well, that does it for this week's show. Join us next week as we take a look at Rapid City, South Dakota. We'll see you next time, friends.
Thank you for listening to The Family Vacationer. Make sure and subscribe to hear more of Rob and Danny.